Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th.
Fox News host Tucker Carlson has a new, completely insane defense of January 6th. And I'm going to go over some of these clips from his show last night that are just incredible. So first here, this is what this whole thing is about. As Mediaite writes, in Monday's episode of Tucker Carlson Tonight, the top-rated Fox News host presented a selection of video clips from the more than 40,000 hours of surveillance footage from the Jan 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol that Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy exclusively allowed him to review. Interesting. I can't wait to see what Tucker Carlson has discovered. So this is how he sets it up. And already we're off to a great start with just an incredible framing here.
Was underway. The protesters were angry. They believed that the election they had just voted in had been unfairly conducted, and they were right. In retrospect, it is clear the 2020 election was a grave betrayal of American democracy. Given the facts that have since emerged about that election, no honest person can deny it.
Okay, this is amazing on so many levels. Before we even get to his actual defense, which is another layer of insanity. But so he says here, the election was a grave betrayal of American democracy. Oh, no honest person can deny it. Tucker Carlson himself talked about how crazy those election conspiracies are. This came out just 2 weeks ago. This is massive news. Fox stars privately expressed disbelief about election fraud claims. Crazy stuff. The comments by Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and others were released as part of a defamation suit against Fox News by Dominion Voter Systems. So while Fox News pushed lies about the 2020 election, backing up Trump's ridiculous claims, here they are privately saying all this is completely insane. All these lies are obviously lies. Yet Tucker here publicly still pushing this garbage, even though it's public knowledge that he privately acknowledged that these election lies are just that, lies. So he says here, quote, Sidney Powell is lying, by the way. I caught her. It's insane. Mr. Carlson wrote to Miss Ingram on November 18th, 2020. Ingram responded, Sidney is a complete nut. No one will work with her. Ditto with Rudy. Carlson continued, our viewers are good people and they believe it. He added, making clear that he did not. The messages also show that such doubts extended to the highest levels of the Fox Corporation, with Rupert Murdoch, its chairman, calling Trump's voter fraud claims really crazy stuff. There's also this one where on November 12th, in a text chain with Ingram and Hannity, Carlson pointed to a tweet in which a Fox reporter, Jackie Heinrich, fact-checked a tweet from Mr. Trump referring to Fox broadcasts and said there was no evidence of voter fraud from Dominion. Quote, please get her fired, Mr. Carlson said, he added. It needs to stop immediately, like tonight. It's measurably hurting the company. The stock price is down. Not a joke. So here he is saying, yes, we should continue lying about this election, we should keep pushing these election lies because it is keeping our viewer base and we're losing people to other, even further right-wing outlets like Newsmax. So we have to keep pushing this lie. Yet here he's, saying no honest person can deny that there were issues with the election. It's so incredibly in-your-face dishonest, considering that this is like massive news. He knows this is massive news, but he also knows, his audience is not reading the news and not really. Studies have showed this, that the vast majority of Fox's audience, at least when it comes to the right-wing viewership of Fox's audience, they largely just get their news from Fox. And that differs from viewers to CNN and MSNBC that typically have a variety of sources that they get information from. Not all of them, of course, but a larger percentage of them have multiple sources that they look at and read compared to the Fox News viewership. And Carlson knows that. So let's get to the heart of his defense here, which basically is actually the Jan 6ers were a peaceful bunch. So check out how he frames that here.
They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the Speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol. They obviously revere the Capitol. They're there because they believe the election was stolen from them. They believe in the system. Here's the man you've heard referred to as the QAnon shaman outside the Senate chamber. These are not...
So we're going to get some more on the QAnon shaman because he has another layer with that guy. But so they're actually a peaceful bunch because we found, some people standing around here and some people standing here. And that means that they were actually peaceful because we found some clips where they were just standing around. It's like a man that abuses his wife, and his defense to the judge is, well, sure, I beat my wife on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but judge, why aren't you talking about Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when I didn't do that? Because that isn't the problem. The problem is when you beat your wife. The problem is when you broke into the Capitol. The problem is when you tried to overturn an election. The problem is when you made a massive mess, rioted the Capitol. Like, it's hard. I don't know. It's hard for me to grasp how anybody with half a brain, with a quarter, with a fraction of a brain, can possibly buy any of this bullshit. Is Tucker ever going to come out? All of his claims about how violent Black Lives Matter is he going to go out and show shots to the crowd, the people that were just standing there peacefully with signs? Of course not. But he'll pull out a clip like this. So ridiculous. And by the way, even some, I wanted to share this as well. Very peaceful bunch. Even some Republican lawmakers, to their credit, because this can potentially hurt them because they're talking down to their base here, but even they are calling this bullshit. So check this out.
Is just a lie.
I think it's bull. I was down there, and I saw maybe a few tourists, a few people who got caught up in things, but when you see police barricades breached, when you see police officers assaulted, all of that, or you had to be in close proximity to it, if you were just a tourist, you should have probably lined up at the visitor center and came in on an orderly basis.
The idea that they were tourists, because, you could find some clips of them standing around. Do tourists normally just break into a place they want to tour, or do they have to, set up a schedule, get in line, wait? Like, it's just, on its face, it's so ridiculous that this is the new defense that they are now that he's now going to. But look, when you even have insane Republican senators being forced to acknowledge reality, you've gone a little too far as Tucker Carlson. Now, here's another one. This is on the QAnon shaman.
A few at the front of the herd broke windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others...
First of all, someone opened the doors as Trump supporters are nearly kicking the doors open. Someone opened the doors. Okay. Come on.
Windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others just walked in. To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened.
So there's more. I'll get to the following clip. But so Chansley is the QAnon shaman, the guy you see clearly here in this picture. As Aiken here writes, 40 seconds between these two clips. You can literally see him walking in. He's the guy holding the flag. He is walking in. How is there a question about how he got into the Capitol? You just showed the video of how he got in. At this point, this has to be Tucker trolling his audience just to see how far they can get, or how far he can push them. I thought the whole suntanning your balls thing was pushing his audience, but this is another version of him of seeing what he can get away with here, because he shows you how he got in the Capitol.
Hundreds of others just walked in. To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building.
Dispute. Oh, dear God. So to make it more clear, Ryan Riley here writing, Tucker is lying. Here is Jacob Chansley entering the Capitol less than 40 seconds after the breach. There was no dispute. I mean, there he is. So this continues here.
Over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of
trying to open locked doors. Here's an officer pushing to see if the door is unlocked. Trying to open locked doors would be trying to, kick the door open, try to pick the lock or something. He's just seeing, hey, where can this guy go? This is a very standard method with how law enforcement deals with people who they deem to be potentially dangerous. Is they will follow them around. They will ensure they're not going to cause too much of a ruckus. And they realize there's a massive crowd outside. If they just arrest him now and pull him out, it's not going to go well for those officers. So they are tailing him, following him around, just to kind of keep an eye on him, keep a handle on him. The idea that they are somehow helping him after we saw him get through the doors after they were broken in, I mean, come on. This stuff is so ridiculous.
Distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate.
Come on. Yes, the guy that was eventually arrested, was eventually convicted. Yes, they are his allies. They're clearly keeping an eye on him, knowing they can't arrest him and pull him out there when there's a massive crowd that are going to be in support of him. They aren't going to risk their lives to arrest this one dude walking around with his shirt off. So here's some more. This is Tucker's attempted defense here of Josh Hawley, who, if you remember, during the Jan 6 hearings, he was on tape. You'll see here running away, and this is Tucker's attempt to defend him doing that, or claim that he's not actually running away.
The surveillance footage we reviewed shows that famous clip was a sham, edited deceptively by the January 6th committee. The clip was propaganda, not evidence. The actual videotape shows that Hawley was one of many lawmakers being ushered out of the building by Capitol Hill police officers. And in fact, Hawley was at the back of the pack. The coward tape was a lie, one of many from the January 6th committee.
Okay, so on one hand, the Jan 6 riders were actually a peaceful bunch. A very peaceful bunch. On the other, here is Josh Hawley. Sure, he's running away because it's a very dangerous riot, but he's running away with other lawmakers. Which, yes, we knew that already. Nobody was claiming that other lawmakers were out there, greeting the rioters. So because the Jan 6 committee showed Josh Hawley running away, that it's somehow deceptive because they didn't acknowledge that other lawmakers were also running away, which was never in question. There's no need to show everyone else running away and going into hiding, being led away. That was openly discussed, how lawmakers were led away. It's the reason why Josh Hawley was singled out during that committee is because he was the one with his fist up, standing strong with the rioters before the riot. But again, that requires context and nuance. Something that Tucker knows the Fox audience is not capable of doing. All right, so some other reactions here. Manu Raju saying Senator Mike Rounds, a South Dakota Republican, added that all media outlets should be given access to the Jan 6 footage, and he added, "I thought it was an insurrection at the time. I still think it was an insurrection today." And here's some more reactions from Republican lawmakers.
There were a lot of people in the Capitol at the time who I think were scared for their lives. So you can, however you want to describe it, but it was an attack on the Capitol.
I think that breaking through glass, windows, and doors to get into the United States Capitol against the orders of police is a crime.
The point is, what happened that day shouldn't have happened.
So there you go. They're acknowledging the reality. Man, I don't. This is, in case you're wondering why is Tucker doing this, it's his attempt to try and keep that far right wacko audience. With everything going on, with the facts out about how Tucker and others lied to the audience, maybe it's an attempt to try and keep some of those crazy people, because I mean, what else is the point of this except to try and speak to an audience that you have cultivated?